Hey, it's a Humble Collector here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the two-panel death card of Georg Kaltenbacher. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So going from the top of the card here, we have a nice photo of Georg, and then moving to the side. In prayerful remembrance of the brave hero, Georg Kaltenbacher, economist son from Landshut Ochtdorf, Feldwebel and Zugfuhrer in a Grenadier Regiment, participant in various campaigns, bearer of various awards, who died on July 7th, 1944, at the age of 27 during the heavy defensive fighting in the East. R.I.P. Now, unfortunately, I really hate when we see these vague terms on death cards like participant in various campaigns, bearer of various awards, because while the family certainly knew what that meant, we don't, and unfortunately don't have the context to ever really know. That being said, we do know that Georg here was a Feldwebel, which is roughly a sergeant, and a Zugfuhrer, which would be a platoon leader. So, he's actually leading men out in the field, and has clearly been doing it for some time. Unusually for a card from like mid-1944, we do actually have a casualty record for Georg. He was born on December 22nd, 1917 in Ochtdorf, and was a member of the 7th Company of Grenadier Regiment 423, which was part of the 212th Infantry Division. And he would be killed by a gunshot wound to the heart west of Swiecrany, which I could not find on any maps, but based on where the 212th was fighting at the time, that should have been somewhere east of Raseiniai, Lithuania, which was actually the site of a major tank battle during Operation Barbarossa, but I digress. And the 212th has come up actually in a lot of our death card videos, and I actually have a whopping 10 other cards related to members of the 212th Infantry Division, which we'll go through here quickly. Heinrich Zinsberger was a Gefreiter in the 9th Company of Infantry Regiment 423, and was killed by a gut shot at Shadovo, Russia on January 20th, 1942. Lorenz Meyer was a Gefreiter in the 1st Company of Infantry Regiment 423 and was killed by a headshot at Vinnyagolovo, Russia on February 25th, 1942. Josef Sontner was a Sanitats Obergefreiter in the 3rd Company of Infantry Regiment 423 and was killed by a gut shot at Pogostye, Russia on February 26, 1942. Ludwig Eigner was an Obergefreiter in the 11th Company of Infantry Regiment 423 and was killed by a gunshot to the left thigh, knee, and hand in Nikolskoye, Russia on March 20th, 1943. Franz Kuckelbauer was a Gefreiter in the 5th Company of Grenadier Regiment 320 and was killed by a headshot at Venglonassy, Russia on April 25th, 1943. Alois Eisenreich was an Obergefreiter in the 10th Company of Grenadier Regiment 423 and died at Shopki, Russia on July 16th, 1943. Theo Sepp was an Obergefreiter in the Staff Company of Grenadier Regiment 423 and was killed by a shrapnel wound to the neck and head at Kilkolovo, Russia on August 14th, 1943. Martin Sierch was an Unteroffizier and Zugfuhrer in the 7th Company of Grenadier Regiment 320 and was killed by shrapnel to the neck at Lodva, Russia on September 25th, 1943. Johann Musner was an Obergefreiter in the Staff Company of Grenadier Regiment 316 and was killed by shrapnel to the extremities at Tosno, Russia on October 12th, 1941. And finally, Peter Weber was an Obergefreiter in the 5th Company of Grenadier Regiment 316 and was killed by a headshot at Poznan, Poland on August 19th, 1944. Unfortunately, still no unit history for the 212th in my collection, but if one exists and I am able to find it, I will try to acquire it at some point. Now, moving to the bottom of the card here. Not long ago you were with us. The hour of farewell was difficult. Much harder is the news of grief that your heart no longer beats. All our hope is now over. Rest in peace, faithful heart. You will never come to our house again. May God ease our deep pain. And we have a really interesting unused HCOM 309 backing. Normally, when these were filled out, the name and rank and date of death of the deceased would be put up in the plaque here, and there usually be some kind of prayer or verse at the bottom, but this one's completely blank, which is kind of unusual. Likely what this means is that Georg's family didn't have the money for whatever it would have cost to do the back part of the card, so they chose to just use the blank plate. You do see that from time to time, though I wouldn't say it's very common. And moving back to the front here, we'll wrap up, but really fascinating card. Like I said, it's a shame that we don't have more information on, Georg's status as far as like the awards that he'd received or the campaigns he'd been a part of up to this point. But, it's clear that he's been fighting on the front line for a long time. And as we see from the list of other members of the 212th whose cards are in my collection, they saw a lot of heavy fighting throughout the war and took a lot of heavy casualties. And when you're in a situation like you are in the Second World War, it really doesn't matter how skilled you are, how long that you've been fighting. Eventually, your luck just runs out. And in Georg's case, his ran out on July 7th of 1944 when he was killed by that gunshot to the heart. So yeah, overall, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.